I'm Sarah Russell.
I'm J.Q. Walker.
Mint, and we are
The Neurodivergent Report, a research-based podcast by and for neurodivergent brains.
In each episode, we'll explore topics relating to neurodiversity and coping strategies by reviewing the literature and discussing current topics.
We will also have interview episodes where we sit down with experts in the field and listeners like you, with the hope that together we can all learn to heal in community.
However you are able to engage, thank you for being here. Yesterday, Romina, I saw your LinkedIn post that you made about getting your first payment as a content creator. And so that feels like a really beautiful story to open up with for you.
I am officially a content creator now, because on one end, I applied for a campaign and I heard back from the brand. It's an Australian app that is about neurodiversity in the workplace. And they, I guess, saw my application and they hired me, and I signed a contract and I sent them 10 videos about autism in the workplace. And I got paid for them. And that was amazing. I'm actually I can say that I'm a content
And it's
creator.
where did these come from? Also.
I'm literally getting paid to write. And that's just amazing.
That's incredible.
I'm
I don't know
just
if
really
you're
glad to see
able.
all of that development. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I was
No,
just saying I'm excited.
I don't know if you're able to share the names, but I think I know
Yeah.
the first one.
So the first one is an app called Caboose.
Yeah.
And they're in Australia, and they do these videos called Neuronuggets.
Yeah,
And
that's incredible. I did some for them as well.
That's so great.
It's really funny. And I wonder if actually, because we're connected on LinkedIn, if that's how it all sort of happened.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've been applying to a lot of campaigns, a lot of content creator opportunities on LinkedIn.
Gotcha.
And so I don't know if at this point, did they reach out to me or did I apply? Now you're making me second guess myself. I'm I don't even know anymore, because I was convinced I applied, but maybe not. Maybe it was a mutual connection,
That's amazing.
Anyway,
I mean, either way, an
sorry.
opportunity is an opportunity, and it's great.
Yeah,
It's
and
great
it's
to
an
see.
incredible connection also, I think.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so awesome that you did them too. Yeah, I mean, I was excited, and I was I thought it was funny because, you get paid in Australian dollars. And so you get,
Yeah.
and then you do the exchange, and it's oh, okay. But it's okay, because it's and I think, and for example, the fact that let me talk so openly and so unedited about autism in the workplace without them telling me what to say, I think was awesome. And so I do this work for awareness, right? So it's not just about, even though I do hope and, would love to live off of it, I'm not expecting that to happen immediately. I'm also doing it for, just the privilege of having a platform to do it. And so it's exciting. It's exciting.
It's really great. I think this takes us back to the beginning, Romina. Tell us about yourself. Tell us. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit of you talking about neurodiversity and accessibility in the workplace. So how did this begin? Who are you? Let everybody know.
So my name is Romina Massa. I'm a digital marketing strategist. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I am a new kind of a rookie content creator in the field of, rookie, I'm just starting, content creator in the field of neurodiversity, really specializing there. I mean, I'm trying to use my voice for autism awareness. I myself am late diagnosed autistic. So I'm an autistic adult who found out at 41 or so ish. That was about 2 years ago. So I'm like a baby. I'm a rookie in many ways. And so I went from just talking about what I did for work and about digital marketing and about AI and about all those things to start connecting them to my diagnosis and to my lived experience as an autistic person. And when you do that, you run into topics like, diversity and inclusion and disability and workplace. And I have a personal story of, I don't know, hopefully by now it's beginning to be a story of resilience because I'm starting to do better. But in November of last year, after 20 years in the workplace, I was laid off of my corporate job. And it happened right after I asked for accommodations, right
Yeah.
after I got my diagnosis. And so it was something that also really opened my eyes in terms of, what it is to be autistic in the workplace, to have an invisible disability in the workplace, and what that means, not just for me, but for so many others out there trying to get a job. And for me to have to realize that yes, I had a job for 20 years, but I did it because I was masking my way through it significantly. And I burned out in a fantastic way, right? Like I am the dog in the meme. I mean, everything around me was on fire. And I was still like, oh, be do corporate, I'll be fine. And I was really literally like whittling down to the I may still be finding my way as a freelancer, but I am so much healthier.
Thank you for sharing. And I want to ask you because I know what the accommodation was. Nonetheless, regardless of whether you were asking for something that was gonna require some adjustment or something that was trivial, it does not mean it should not be implemented. But can you tell the audience what was the accessibility that you wanted that the boss was so not willing to accommodate for?
Yeah, it was quite a thing to be asking for. I requested written instructions.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
The
Oh
audacity,
no.
the audacity. Yeah, I was not, and get this, my title was lead insights analyst. And that's specific to analytics and to reports and to things like that. And it is not really conducive to the best work for an analyst to not have a brief, to not have written instructions to go off, to not have something to go back to every time you're working on a task, on a project. I had to piece together what I needed to do from meetings where things were kind of like thrown at me back in the day
No.
where we didn't have meeting recordings. I didn't have today I get a transcript of every single meeting I do when I run them. I couldn't do that before. And so I couldn't record, I couldn't have transcripts. I had nothing to go by. I asked over and over, and that was just never it. They chose to let me go instead.
And that was around the time you initially got the diagnosis, so you were still fresh. Yeah. How did
Fresh.
it happen? How did you get the diagnosis? What made you think at 40
Yeah.
something I might have something like autism?
It wasn't me. I was already diagnosed with something else that now we know was a comorbidity and developed later in my life because of my undiagnosed autism. And so I was just living life as that. And I go to therapy every week, have been for years, if not decades. And so I'm in therapy and I'm sharing something. And one day, one session, my therapist goes, I want to tell you something. And she was the one that spotted something about my behavior, something about what I said. She spotted a sign and she recommended that I go and find a neuropsychologist and get tested for ASD. And so basically, my therapist gave me a referral. And with that, I went out and I found a neuropsychologist and I did the exhaustive
Yeah.
testing. Hello. Like it was a lot. Like the testing involved me, my best friend, and my sister. And it was like comprehensive and all that. That's how I got that's how I got my diagnosis. And it got confirmed that I still had what I used to have, but as a comorbidity.
unfortunately, because of the lack of early intervention, becomes the rule in psychiatry. You start having anxiety, depression, whatever it is, as a result of your underlying ADHD or anxiety that was not picked up early. And who is the most likely to be underdiagnosed? Women, because they don't present in the
Women.
typical way. So you're within
Exactly.
the
I just
statistics,
wrote it.
Romina. Yeah.
Where I'm a statistic. I'm a
Yeah.
like just like poster girl statistic, right? It's funny because I just started writing a video series for TikTok about autism and women in particular, and I'm talking
Wow, I'd
about
love to see it.
the thank you. I'm going to talk about the undiagnosis and friendships, how important they are, and
Oh, yeah.
things like that. Yeah, friendships. I think like in women and autism in women, and friendships. Best friendships. They are, I think, quite like that part of a support system. I think is very crucial. At least in my experience, it has been. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
100%
am.
agree.
Well, yeah, and it's very unfortunate that women are so wildly undiagnosed, misdiagnosed.
Yeah.
Like I was undiagnosed for years and then misdiagnosed for another set of years
Yeah.
before I
Yes.
actually was
Same.
We talked about your job and how you're a freelancer now. We
Mm,
talked about your late diagnosis and how you stumbled upon it. So a good
stigma.
therapist is important. Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Stigma.
so what I was going to say is that women also get like the majority of the stigma. Obviously there's misconceptions always about ASD and ADHD, but they've done research specifically on women stigma and stuff like that, and just like how does the presence of a diagnosis impact like your willingness to engage with a person, or like would you hang out with them again, kind of thing. It's really damning research.
interesting.
I'll see if I
It's
can find it
interesting,
for
and
Sociology
you.
major
it's
right
I
here.
can.
She knows what she's doing.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm like sociology major here. She knows what she's talking about.
Wow,
I
and
love
and
it.
I'll tell you, it's so interesting. I was just writing. I wrote about this because a follower asked me to. It was because, and this really did happen to me with at least one person that I can tell, and it was me sharing my diagnosis. And the moment I did that, it was like I flipped a switch in their heads, and like they switched to like baby talk almost, and it was like suddenly they were talking to me so much more carefully. And, suddenly it was like kind of like everything got, explained. But this was a woman explained to me. Like I was going to say mansplained. And then I was like, no, that doesn't fit. She didn't
I see what you
mansplain me.
mean.
Dehumanizing,
But
really. I
sorta she
mean,
did, right? Like sorta
condescending
she
a
did.
little.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, and I was like, I can't, what is happening? Like, this is not why I just told you my news. Like, this is not so that you can now think that I'm anything less and that I'm somehow like less smart or less less comprehending or less anything. But it was an immediate switch. And I think that that's the experience of many.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we were gonna dig into your autism diagnosis a little bit more, and I think talking about people's reactions is a good way to talk about
Very
it because
powerful.
um, you just showed one way, and she might be well intended. She might be not. She might have
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
no,
of
she
preconceived
thinks
notions.
she's.
Yeah, and I wonder what would be, for people to understand what would be the right way to approach when someone discloses this diagnosis. Obviously, if it were a friend and if it were a boss, what would be the two scenarios? What to be expected of them? What do you think?
I really think it's kind of like a twofold thing. I equate it in a way with coming out of the closet and how there shouldn't be a need to even do that these days, right? Like people shouldn't be out there saying, "Hey, by the way, I'm gay," and it shouldn't be that I should need to sit someone down and be like, "Hey, let me share with you that it shouldn't, right? It shouldn't
Let
be a
me
piece of
teach you
information that
how you should treat me based on my identity.
I'd love
Yeah,
to just share with you that I like strawberries and that I'm autistic in the same sentence and with the same breath, and there's nothing to it because it's just something. So another thing that I think would be the best way to approach finding out is just to ask, what is the best way to support you?
exactly.
Like to
Thank you.
just ask me,
Yeah.
just ask me,
Mhm.
ask me, because it's
Don't
gonna be the
assume.
best way. Because if you assume, the probabilities of you getting it wrong are high. Like this woman thought she was being supportive when she was like, "Oh, don't worry, everything is gonna be okay," and I was
I
like
have another example of
so
what
turned
that's
off.
like. It's like when someone tells you that a family member has passed away and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," but then they're like, "Oh, I don't care. They were abusive. They got what they just." And it's like,
But you
"Whoa, I
Yeah.
can't
wasn't
assume.
expecting that."
You can't assume that everybody exactly
Has
that
the
everybody
same
expects the
experience.
same answer. I used to work at a place, and while I worked there, I never disclosed. And then I left. And after I left, I found myself one day having a casual conversation with someone who used to be above me at this company. And I decided to tell them. And I tell them, and then she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "It's okay. Like, I'm not like dying. Like, I'm like, like,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh God,
I'm
I
just
think we
different.
don't
I'm just
know. People
different."
just don't know. Yeah, no,
People don't
people
get
just
it.
don't
Like,
know.
Let's flip that
Oh,
around. Could you imagine if you came out to someone and they said, "I'm so sorry"?
right.
Like, that
Oh,
would
oh,
yeah,
never happen. That would never happen.
exactly. "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, no,
100%.
wrong answer.
I want to go just into one thing that is related to autism, and then maybe we can go talk about your childhood because I missed the first few minutes and I completely didn't know that you are the daughter of a diplomat. So I want to know what that's like for sure.
Mm.
But you asked for workplace accommodation that was very simple. And it led to this unfortunate thing, but maybe hopefully this, like you said, a story of resilience where you say this happened and now look at me. And I think you're already there.
I'm
When it
getting
comes
there.
down
I'm
to,
on my way.
you're getting there. Yes. What have you, I mean, freelancing seems to be very, I see, compatible with a lot of people who are neurodivergent. I've been seeing that with the guests. I've been seeing that with my co-hosts. It seems to be the 9 to 5 does not suit that creative brain. Since now you're basically the boss of yourself, can we say that? You are, what kind of accommodations you've done that has helped? Because I realized when it comes down to people who are listening, they may not know what do they need, so you don't know what you're missing unless it's pointed out to you. When it comes
Right.
to sensory stuff, when it comes to motor, whatever it is. Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking that.
Thank you.
Major thing for me has been that working from home and working for myself allows me to work on my own sleep schedule. And I have a weird sleep schedule. I'm working at 4 a.m., which means at 3 p.m., I'm tired and I want to be done. And so I'm
Yeah.
able to really do that and work from 3 to 5. I'm still connected, but I work very little really. When I'm alone, I can disconnect and I can work really early. It's funny because by in the morning, like if you look at my Outbox at like 5, 6 in the morning, you'll have like 3 or 4 scheduled emails, all scheduled to go out at 8 a.m. Because I've been working, but I don't want to email anybody. So I have like a bunch of emails and everything goes out at 8 a.m. and everybody gets it,
I
and it's like
love
Amazing.
scheduling messages. That is such a
love it.
wonderful feature that technology has given
Love
us.
that.
Thank you.
Love scheduling emails because I schedule texts, I
Mhm.
schedule emails. And so I'm able to give updates and give notes and work whenever I want. I also have an email signature that says sent when my brain is online, reply when yours is.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
so that's also cool because sometimes I forget and I just hit send. And now you have an inbox, a message in your inbox at 4 a.m. And what are you going to do? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So but I've been able to, I've been able to accommodate my own hours. I've been able to, accommodate my overwhelm and my so that I don't burn out my sensory exposure. I'm able to control it. And so if I need a break, I can take it. If I need to stop, I can take it. If I need to put on some Chopin in the background, I can do that. You know what I mean? I can work outside where I'm happy and it's warm. And all of those things, really, just, I don't feel watched. I can steam. I can do all the things that I don't. So I think there are workplaces where all of the things that I just brought up are possible and you can still
Yes.
have a job and get health insurance, right? It's just that there are few and far between. And so I hope that there can be more so that people like me can still have a job because I think, yes, the freelance work model works for a lot of us neurodivergent people. But at least I'll speak for myself when I'll say that it's not necessarily by choice.
Yeah, we're totally self-selecting it because we're not well
I would
And it's
accommodated.
brutal.
love, I would love a full-time job that lets me be me. I would
Yeah.
give it I would give a lot for one
No,
that gives me health
100%.
insurance, that gives me stability, and that I still have that, but I can still be myself and not burn out. But that's just
Yeah.
hard to find. And so before I get that, I have to hustle and I have to get contracts and I have to find here and there work that lets me, keep my home.
That's well said. Thank you so much. Because I was gonna tap onto that with regards to freelancing. That when we say it's more suitable, doesn't mean that it is the best because it's brutal. The health insurance in and of
It's
itself is
brutal.
enough to, yeah.
It's
Um,
brutal. It's
what
six
you
hundred
mentioned,
dollars for me, by the way, the health insurance. It's ridiculous, but I'm hoping that it's gonna go down because open enrollment is coming. And I made a friend who is an insurance agent. And I literally have an appointment with her. And I cannot wait to get her
Yeah.
help so
Oh
that
my
when
goodness.
open enrollment comes, she's able to help me get a better plan because my insurance is
fully,
brutal.
Such
yeah.
uniquely American problems. That is a terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. I also know
No,
that
it's
Florida is
awful.
really bad with
The
their
worst.
marketplace. Okay. So I want to ask, have you always been able to accommodate yourself, or like was your experience growing up very strict? Was your dad
No,
like a strict diplomat, or was he like not around? Not to be
no, my
calling.
dad was around.
Okay.
My dad was around. And excuse me if I get emotional when we talk about him because I
I'm
just lost
sorry.
him.
Oh.
Yeah. It's gonna be 6 months in 2 days. Thank you. So, but no, he was around a lot. And what was the question?
It's
Was your
okay. Take your
childhood
time.
strict? Were you allowed to
No,
accommodate your needs?
no.
Were you
It
taught
was
how to do
I
that?
was definitely, look, my parents didn't know. And there were certainly things that that happened, like, they always thought I was dramatic and they always thought I should be a lawyer and all those things. But even inside of all that, I know you should be a lawyer. You're so contrary, the typical. But within all that, did I have everything I need, even if it was weird? Yes. Did they end up sort of letting me read my comic books at 3 a.m. when I had insomnia when I was like 12, which I sleep badly now. I was sleeping badly when I was younger. And like, did they, close an eye and let me do it? They did. They did let me be. They didn't I did a lot of masking for 41 years of my life, for sure. But my
Because we
parents,
want to
especially
please.
but my dad was like, he really did like love me for me.
That's so special. We can just sit in
That
that for a
is
minute if you
amazing.
need to.
No, it's like, thank you.
Thank you for
I
sharing.
just miss him. Thank you.
Yeah. I think the reason
Yeah,
that I asked is because sometimes late diagnosed people will go through a process of unlearning the like
Yeah.
suppression of their natural neurodivergent traits, suppression of the stimming, a suppression of like even interoception, like even knowing what your body is feeling. Because we're so used to being told, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're just being sensitive. Oh, just, ignore it. Like everybody gets headaches kind of thing. And
Yeah. No,
yeah,
so
I know those things now. Those are
that's
things that
why.
I know now to protect, right? Like I know now
Yeah.
that I'm overstimulated. Those are
Yeah.
things I didn't know before. And so before I would power through. Now I'm like, no,
So
I need
for
to
beautiful to
like,
me,
have the language.
I was gonna say, for how did you establish that? For me, I'm still getting there. I'm still trying to understand myself. One thing I've managed to do, and I tell Sarah about because I'm really excited about it, is I found the appropriate lighting for me for the room, and because sometimes it was too much, and then if I turned them all off, it was not enough. And then I discovered this key, and that gives me the
nice.
right amount that I needed. And I'm just discovering that. And I feel that mindfulness has helped me be able to stop and figure out, okay, what's going on. And so that's been my key. I'm still not there yet 100%. Would you say mindfulness is the thing? How did you develop the vernacular and the knowledge to know, to at least know, okay, what do I need right now, or I'm not comfortable right now?
So first of all, shout out to Christina, my therapist,
Okay,
because
Christina's
she
amazing.
Yes.
I know what I know because Christina teaches me things, right? And
Wow.
Christina helps me, and she gives me tools, and she's been the one that recently told me I need to be more intentional about the mindfulness. I have things that I like. I have sound bowls. I really like sound bowls, like that kind of thing. I know that there are some certain sensory things that help me calm down more than others that I can do. So she's been, and I've been worried lately, especially because of the freelance and the this and the that. Like, am I
Yeah.
going to have enough money? And she's been telling me, when I get overwhelmed, when I get worried, I need to practice mindfulness. I need to be able to be in the moment and not be overwhelmed by worries that aren't even right now. It's what
Mhm.
ifs that I'm getting all worked up about, and it's anxiety, and I need to be able to ground myself and be in the now. And so she's been teaching me to be mindful, and I try, I do my sound bowl. I work out in VR. Something that I'm loving is my VR headset, to be honest.
I've
As an
never heard of
autistic
that.
person, I swear by it because it is so immersive. It is a full sensory experience where you're like, it's really like, it's amazing. Like I really am amazed by it, and I work out in it. And so now I've been doing exercise every morning, which is something that I couldn't say for myself my entire life. And now I'm
Wow.
finally like actually working out every day, like working out and sweating early in the morning. And I do it in VR. And I actually like interact with people and stuff. Like I actually do like group workouts and everything because it's so immersive, but safe. It's really cool. Like if I want to talk, I can talk. If I don't want to talk, I can mute. It's so like free
That's
that you can just
amazing.
like, it's great.
And it's a
And
wonderful thing to start in the morning with that. That's liberating.
yeah, every day. And so I've tried different things that I failed at. Like I wanted to meditate. I realized I cannot meditate. I can only meditate if I'm combining it with sound. So if I'm doing a
Mm,
sound bath or playing with a sound bowl or doing vibrations of some kind, then I can get in a meditative state. But in silence, it just does not work. My intrusive thoughts are too loud.
Mhm.
I
So
was
I'm
gonna
like
validate
you, I'm
something.
getting there.
Yeah, I'm still thank you for sharing all of that. That's actually it's been really cool. The VR specifically, I'm very
So
intrigued.
cool.
I
I
wanted
really
to validate
recommend it.
something. I'm gonna look into this. I'm definitely gonna look into this. I wanted to validate something that you said about your sleep being bad. I wanna say that maybe you need to reframe that because it's been known that people with neurodiversity have a different circadian rhythm. So you're just this is
Yeah.
how your brain is wired. So you're actually going in accordance to what's your software hardware, not even software. This is your
Yeah.
hardware, this is
So
how
it's
it's
not bad.
designed, and it's not bad because do you wake up refreshed?
I wait. Yeah, most of the times.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's the number one thing I ask patients when I want to know if they have sleep problems or not. You might sleep for 11 hours and not wake up refreshed. You might sleep for 6 hours and feel refreshed. So it's the
Yeah.
feeling. And so I think you're working with what your brain is with the brain waves that you have. So I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It's reframed.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, good. Because I mean, I've done a lot of research on sleep, also having like disruptive issues. Um they say that like 80% of people with ADHD or people who are on the spectrum even have issues with sleep. Whether it's like an actual sleep disorder or they just report like disturbed sleep. Yeah, it's a
Wow. Yeah.
ridiculously high
Yeah. Wow.
number and they chalk it up to anxiety and stuff, but as I said, they don't always find an objective reason for it. That's fascinating, but also sad.
Yeah.
Fascinating but messed up. Yeah. But if you are able to find work conditions that let you exist like that, great.
Exactly. Then who cares? Oh, and another thing I wanted to say, as we were talking about, like, it would be great that there would be more jobs in the future that would be
Mm,
accommodating. They're doing research right now on how to build buildings for the future, how to make sure that buildings are more accessible for the future.
I
And so
love
let's
that.
let's continue and do research on what would be an ideal workplace for the future. I think we
I
already
love
have a lot
that.
of ideas. Yeah,
That's so
That's
cool.
amazing.
just reframe it that way. Like guys, this isn't asking for anything crazy. We're just thinking about the future so that we don't have buildings
Yeah.
that can't conduct Wi-Fi and shit.
Exactly. I
There's a
mean,
guest
we
that
we live in a world right now that isn't designed for us in mind. And so
no.
we can change that.
There was this one episode with a guest, Sean. I was not part of it, but I was lucky enough to edit it. And he was talking about how even if you're not neurodivergent, everyone has sensory needs. And when we
Yeah.
tailor the workplace to that, everyone is happy. So I feel that the workplace is not tailored to anyone. It's not,
It's not,
and
it's not. That's true. It's not
yeah,
friendly to humans.
it's not friendly to humans. Exactly. They want us to mass produce, be like robots. And so I love the way that he viewed it because, you could be someone who's neurotypical and have issues with sound or love a specific texture over another.
Absolutely.
So I think that's interesting. You gave me hope with this new study that or this new plan they've been doing with buildings. I think, yeah,
I
more
love that.
individualistic.
Okay. So we've been all over the place, I think, but we've hit on a lot of awesome things. We even went down into the strategies and supports. We've been talking a lot about nervous system regulation and like
Yeah.
getting overwhelmed, and bringing those calming things into our lives. Um, let's see.
You know what I've noticed that's really cool?
Yeah.
After becoming a
Oh, what's that?
content creator and having teen children, it
Mm,
was, it's complicated to be mom of teen kids, and be autistic at the same time. And to communicate those things and to know how many of my needs can I communicate and how much of them do I put aside because kids come first, which is what you do, right? And so it's hard to know how to be a mom. It's hard to know how to be a mom in general, honestly. Like
Yeah.
you
I
don't
was
need to
gonna
be
say.
you don't need to be neurodivergent to be fully and utterly confused,
yeah.
right? But something that I've noticed that I think is cool is that my TikTok there's tons and tons of videos, and they're all about the autistic experience, and my kids watch them.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a switch, a shift in the way that the house works, in the way that, in the language that they use with me, in the things like they don't get so. The other day, my daughter, instead of like getting so annoyed with me and like saying something, like, I don't remember what it was, that in the past she would have just been mad. And she said something just like, yeah, but like, like something about you getting overstimulated.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, but that's exactly what is happening, right? It's nothing dramatic. I'm not the word, like, it's not like, oh, mom, it's just mom is a little overstimulated right now. And like, it was something that she had the language,
Mhm.
and then she understood it. And there was no resentment from her. Like, it was just, and so
Mhm.
it made me think about just how cool it is to communicate, to be open and communicate about these things, and to share, and to have awareness. And
Mhm.
this is the good consequence of awareness.
Yeah.
Humans
Yes.
who understand what it is to be neurodivergent. And I think, when young kids are growing up understanding that some people are just different,
Mhm.
and I just think it's awesome. And so I've noticed this shift in them and my relationship with them and the way they talk. And I hope that that's also something that reflects in the way that they interact with their friends and
Yeah.
themselves and other people, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
think you obviously give them space to like be overstimulated and express that themselves. Otherwise, they might not be so likely to just give you the benefit of the doubt. Um, so it's
Oh,
good. And I think that is how we teach our kids is by mirroring, is sometimes by getting
yeah,
overstimulated and then showing them how we regulate ourselves. And maybe like they need different things from us, but we all need to be taught from a starting point. Um,
exactly.
and then we can
Exactly.
figure
And
out
it
how to
is
tweak it from
important.
there. Mhm.
Exactly. And to be human role models,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
It's
like
not
that's the
healthy
most
for to
important way.
never let your kid see you cry.
No, it's not healthy. It's not even healthy to like never curse. I remember reading an article about cursing in adults is just a healthy way to express frustration. It's much better to be cursing than to be hitting things or others. It's better to curse than to do other more violent things when you're upset. All you're doing is exclaiming a word that we've all agreed is a bad word, but that's it. There's nothing inherently
Yeah.
hurtful about it, right? Like when you
Yeah.
say the F word. And so I read this article that said children watching this, like when they're little, it's not the end of the world because all they're seeing is an adult regulating. That's all they're seeing. Like it's an adult regulating and managing emotions. Like the adult is pissed off for some reason. Like it happens. So there's frustration, there's pain. Maybe they just bang their finger. You don't know what it is. It's just, I thought that was interesting instead. And especially with how much access our children have to content and to
Yeah.
information outside of you, putting them in a bubble is the most counterproductive thing you can do anyway, right?
Mhm.
Like, I think the most important thing you can do is to give them the tools to actually know what to do with all the information they're going to find out with or without you,
Yeah.
including all the curse words. They're going to hear them.
Yes,
Yeah.
it just reminds me of like abstinence only education and how we know that doesn't work. And so
Yeah,
just like trying
exactly.
to shield your kids from something isn't going to protect them from that thing. It's only going to ensure that they don't know how to responsibly use it. Um,
Yeah, and respond to it, and they won't know what the heck to do when they're
mhm.
in front of it,
Yeah.
which is inevitable.
Yes, and I get it. Like as parents, we have enough to do already, but that's a really important job. That's not a corner
Yeah.
we can cut. So, yeah. Um, I was looking at my notes and I found a question. It's not a smooth segue, but we're gonna go back to vibrations and sensory supports and stuff because you last time we spoke, you talked to me about how you love concerts. And same. I love the experience
Dude.
of being at a concert, but it's also extremely overstimulating to be around a bunch of different people and stuff. And so How does that work for you? How do you make that, like, how do you reconcile the two things?
So it's been such a journey for me with concerts. I've always loved them, always gone. When I was young, I guess I was more resilient and it was easier for me to just get through the whole thing, and I didn't
You
really
didn't
feel
have
it.
as many negative experiences, so
I didn't have as many. So when I was, in my early 20s and stuff, but I remember getting older, being here in the States, going into my 30s, and continuing to go to concerts, but starting to get extremely anxious at the time of leaving and finding that I couldn't um, do that. I couldn't go to the concert if we had to leave because there were too many people leaving at the same time. It took too long to get out of the parking lot. It was too overwhelming to get out of the arena. Everything was just way, way, way too much, and I couldn't do it. And I had to start leaving before the closing, the finale, which made my ex-husband super annoyed. And I mean, he was kind enough to do it, but I remember leaving Coldplay and leaving some thick concerts and missing the closers because it was the only way for me to do it. And then I remember wanting to get over that. And I think probably taking an anxiety pill or something for that. But now that I know my diagnosis and I know that it is what it is that is happening, and I have the tools and I know what to do, I've noticed that it's just about just doing everything I can to protect my peace. And so just basically taking it, it's being, a Girl Scout about it. Just come prepared. Like I know what to expect. I'm in my 40s and I know what can help soothe the situation. And so what do? I get there early. If I can swing it, and I will probably do my very best to swing it, I'm gonna pay for premium parking so that I don't have to miss the finale, but I still can get out of there really, really fast.
yeah.
I will, probably bring noise canceling headphones so that unless I'm listening to the artist, I'm not listening to anything. I'll probably, do something like be on my phone, when before we start. I remember waiting for Shakira. My daughter and I just chilled on our phones. There was no pressure to like be hanging out. Like we don't need to. Like I'm gonna be in my bubble a little bit and just chill until it starts. And so just play with the pieces so that it becomes, and then just be prepared because regardless, the experience continues to be exhausting and draining, and it's still the next day. You don't recover until like 2 days later, right? Like that it's like traveling or going to a work conference, but that's just something that you live with as a neurodivergent person. You just know that some experiences are going to be more draining than others, but I do make the choice to get drained rather than missing it because I do like it.
That's amazing. I'm taking notes of like because I love concerts too, and I do have some similar issues to that. So yeah, it's good to know and continue to know yourself and what triggers you, what soothes you, and
Right.
that's why this is something that Sarah always asks guests about. Is like, what are your ways to regulate? It's really important because
Yeah.
not only do you realize if the person's journey into finding out who they are and how they regulate, but it also gives us ideas also on how
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh, and I'm
Always
telling
taking
you,
ideas.
in I am mid transition to from unhealthy to healthy fidgeting because I've been a smoker for many years. I smoked cigarettes first, then I switched to vaping, and then I recently stopped. I've been off of nicotine for like almost 2 months, and I'm almost done I have these vapes that are 0% nicotine, and I barely use it anymore. And so I'm getting to the point where I don't smoke. And I've switched it for Stim toys. And it's funny because I can't find my favorite one. And I've been looking around and at the same time shopping around on TikTok Shop to find my next one because I already know I'm not going to find it and I'm going to need a new one because the ones that I have, I don't like. I bought one that has too many lights and it makes too much sound. And so because I just started with using STEM toys, I'm kind of going through a couple of them and figuring out what works for me. Trial and error. And there's a few that are just not, like there's one that's just an atrocity. Like I'm like, who gets chill with this? But it's like, here, I'll show you. But it's so funny to me because this is the neurodivergent experience, right? This is exactly what shows you how different we all are from each other. And there's a lot of us that thrive on this. But this thing is loud as hell.
Oh my gosh.
It's super loud.
My kid came home with one of those. I think it's like on the floor.
And the lights. And the lights. Like, I'm like, why would I do that? Like, nothing about this is relaxing to me.
Baby toy.
But it's supposed to be for adults. And so I'm like, okay, so this is not for me. And I had one that was magnetic. That was something like that is what I need. I need one. And I lost
I
mine.
love magnet.
I had a magnetic one that it was 2 pieces that I could like slide like this.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
And
that
I
and
lost
the
it.
little
So
box
I'm gonna need to buy another of
That's
that
the
one.
ADHD tax. Isn't that the worst? And then when you get the new one, you find the old one.
Yeah, well,
I hate
but it's
that.
gonna be like my STEM toy is gonna become like some people's chopsticks, where they have like one in the car and one in the nightstand and one in the
Yes.
living room and
Oh,
one in their
beautiful.
person.
Yeah. It's
Love
no
those.
loss.
I've
And
seen the
this,
balls.
Yes.
yeah.
I can't find my
No,
little one.
I agree with you. It's just you have to accept it, and you have to know that you need multiple ones. But it's just that's one of the unique experiences that we have as people who are neurodivergent is that tax.
Exactly.
Is that like,
Exactly.
I have a million planners. I lose stuff and I have duplicate. Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
But this one also has the pop it.
Nice.
And it also does have lights.
A clicky one.
But I don't care about that. I'll leave that off.
The lights are too much for me, but I can't turn them off.
Oh yeah, no, this one is better, but
ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, and it does take a lot of trial and error to figure out what feels good to you.
Exactly.
And it's not always going to be the same thing either. I think that's
it can change.
One of
Exactly.
the challenging
I could be
parts.
in different moods.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Well, Romina, if people want to find you on the internet, where should they go?
You can find me really easily on LinkedIn and also on TikTok. On TikTok, I'm Romina.Massa. On TikTok, it's where you will find the most neurodivergent content of my content. So if you're interested in my take on autism, that's where you'll find it the most. On LinkedIn, please find me too. And my website, which is really easy, it's rominamassa.com.
Awesome.
Perfect. This was a great episode. I'm so happy we got to meet after the mic check. The mic check was such a vibe, and I'm exactly how I expected this interview to be. So thank you so much. This was very beneficial, and it was full of heart, full of grit, full of everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a pleasure for me, and I thank you for having me and for everything. It was awesome.
So I always like to finish with like a fun random question. So I'm shuffling my cards right now. It's a confidence booster edition from a company called We're Not Really Strangers. They just do like relationship building stuff. It's cool. So let's see. What's the random question? Orange. Ooh, love this. Describe a situation where you said no and you're really glad that you did.
Okay. Wait. There was one time where I was just learning, something that I've learned now in my, especially my post-diagnosis life and in my old age. No, I'm kidding. In my perimenopausal era, is that it is important for me to protect my peace. And protecting my peace very much includes the people who surround me. I have to curate my circle. And that means establishing clear boundaries. And there was this one time that I was I was in 2 long relationships back to back. and I was just starting to kind of date again. And I was talking to someone and I was going to meet them and we were going to go on a date. And it was just weird. It got weird that like he was late and then he was late but had no explanation, and then there was like a meeting but the meeting hadn't been mentioned before, and then he's just leaving but he hasn't really. And I just got this feeling that was just like, you know what, this is one of those red flags that I am about to ignore. I'm going to do what I and so many women in the past have done, where you're going to just oversee the red flag and still go on this date. And I decided not to do it. And it was a very awkward and weird situation because the date was happening, the guy was on his way. And I was like, you know what? I changed my mind and this is a no-go. And he was like, no, but what's going on? And he started, he blew up my phone, called me like 10 times. He really, really tried to like get it back on. But I was like, no, I'm done. And I put down my phone and I was like, no. And I just really shut down. And I remember, and I don't honestly know, who knows, right? Never. He texted every once in a while for a couple months, but I am really glad. I remember that would have been one of the first times that I made a really intentional decision, especially as a woman, especially as a single woman, to make a choice that doesn't seem like the obvious one, but is but I knew was the best for me.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you
And
for
it's
sharing
difficult,
that.
especially after back-to-back, like you said, relationships. You have all the people in your head, like you're being too picky or you're seeing too
Yeah.
much into it, but you didn't do that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I was
We
lonely
don't.
too. I was lonely, but no. Yeah.
Sometimes it's better
But I
to be
still didn't go.
lonely than abused. I'm trying to teach my recently divorced friend that.
100. Yeah. And I've taken enough in my lifetime. I'm done with that. I am now happily with someone who I never have to say I'm taking something. It's only positive, and that's what I was looking for. So I'm so glad that I told this other guy to take a hike.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
Thank you,
worth your
Romina.
safety to have like all it takes is just a little uncomfortable situation, but then, you're not going to get murdered. So I think the cost benefit analysis really works out. uh,
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm
Love
so
that.
glad I asked that question. And I'm
That was
also
great.
so glad you were able to throw in the protect my peace thing again. Because that's like kind of your catchphrase.
Yeah.
I see that I
You cut off a
disconnected a
little
little
bit.
bit.
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was gonna say I love that you were able to throw in your phrase, protect your peace again, because that's something that we all need to be reminded of over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad I got to say that again too. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks for being here. If you want to connect with the Neurodivergent Report, you can find us at ND Report Pod on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, Substack, etc.
If you're looking to support the show, the best thing you can do is subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Please do that.
And hey, if you want to check out more about us, visit our website at ndreportpod.com. And you can also go there if you want to be a guest contributor on the show.
Until next time, be well, do good. Bye.